go. We're going back into... Here we go. We're going back into it. Back in Minnesota history / what made me how I am now. Like 1999, huge year. I turned 19 that summer. I was going off to college. Fished the Silverados the whole year. We saw a second place finish. I was up in the money on Rice Lake with Brian Krause, another great dude from Minnesota that fished these for some years. And ended up being the tournament champions would be Homish Waters, North, South, Center, and Green. I just looked back at my logbook since I said before that I recorded all this, and check this out. This is how much time I had spent out there that summer. So I went back and checked. There was 23 days that I spent between North, South, Center, and Green, which is, roughly a dozen. I spent a little more time on North, South, Center. Definitely familiar waters, but back then, like the mystique of everything, these pros and stuff knew so much to do things, and this was a huge deal, and they were coming there, and I got a chance on home waters. I just fished a tournament the weekend before. Some of these guys were there. I can't remember, but we did pretty good. I'd have to look at the logbook to tell you again. But it was the weekend before, and we did pretty good on North, South, Center. So this was back in the mystery days of everybody fishing shallow and the mystique of fishing out deep. So this is how it goes. We'll start the video off here. Here we go, the same intro.
In the world of competitive bass fishing, on the Silverado Pro Bass Tour.
Hi, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Silverado Tournament of Champions. We're up in Chisago City, North, South, Center, and Green Lake. Gary, what's it going to take to win this?
Well, it's definitely going to take a limit today, John. They're going to need 15 pounds, and whoever does it's going to have to get 15 pounds 2 days in a row.
So, 3 pound average. That's nothing compared to today. For some reason, they went back for this tournament. Each day's just a 5 fish limit. So, I can remember being pretty jazzed for this one.
The Tournament of Champions brings together the top anglers on the Silverado circuit for a 2-day test of skill, patience, and perseverance.
Here we go. Can remember being how nervous I was and who I wanted to be with.
On North, South, Center from 6:30 to 2:30.
Frankie's Live Bait and Marine in Chisago City is the host for the random
Look at that,
pairing of the top
Frankie's.
40 pros and top 40 amateurs.
Ross Haug's
20
dad.
teams will start on Green Lake and 20 teams on North South Center, with the pros switching lakes for day 2. Heads out on the North South Center with partner Matt Rain.
I really don't think the weather change will affect the fish in this type of a lake near as much as it would as a clear water lake. I think we'll do well.
Back on green, Fisher and Reichman.
It's funny right where they start here, Green Lake home waters. It's funny to see 3 boats right there. I don't know if I've saw a boat fishing around in that area for so many years. I've tried to catch them there, but it's funny that back then the people are catching them there.
We got a little running water last night, and these fish will come out and around this culvert area and hang out in this grass and pull up if there's enough current coming out of the culvert. So what we're doing is fan casting around this culvert area, just trying to pick up a few fish that might be just resting or recovering or getting ready to come in to feed right off the face of this culvert, I think. But that's a good sign, Rick. At least they're in the area. Got one. Good one.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. He's out here. Well, that'll work too.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing a spinnerbait, also something you don't get to fish with very much anymore, huh?
That'll boy. Thanks, Rick. Tell you, that's what we want. If we can get a bunch of these. She picked up and swam out of there with it, Rick. That's two buddies. We'll just keep each other's confidences rolling.
It's crazy at this point after watching the video. These
Edge
guys
and
were
Ray
out
get
off
an
the
early
bank,
start on
you
their
know.
5-fish limit.
I can remember those guys were in the same area from the tournament you fished the weekend before, where
The magic lizard.
Chris and his dad won in the tournament. So pretty crazy that spot. Not fished too much now.
That's really good to get a real nice fish like that. That's a 3 pounder. You should see 5 minutes on the spot. I would say approaching 17 pounds. I think the fishing might be a
Look
little
at
bit
that, how old
tougher
school
today
that
just
was.
because of
Marker buoy,
It's a big one.
so you can stay in
Big
your
one.
spot.
just a little rocky point that comes out, and we're just dragging a Carolina rig lizard over the top of it. It seems like it's a real good technique for catching a big fish. You could catch probably some good ones here on a crankbait. Personally, I have a lot more confidence in a Carolina rig. The way this wind's blowing, it's about the best way you can actually fish them. So I know there's a bunch of big ones here. That's a good 3 pounder, approaching 3, 2 3/4 to 3 pounds. That's what we're after.
Also on Green Lake,
Here it is.
Dean
They
Kemper
caught up
and
to us.
Dave Sickenender.
I think at this time we had caught quite a few fish. Dino, it's an absolute riot. That morning was insane. He had a game plan of fishing docks, and we burned docks like it was going out of style. Like, it was absolutely crazy. I can just remember fishing behind him, trying to fish behind him, and just trying not to catch on anything was my main 2 concerns. Cast, get somewhere where you get a chance, and try not to catch anything, because he was flying that morning, cruising. I can remember we were fishing a stretch of docks. He's like, oh no, whoever's pulling in there. Meow! Went over there, and all of a sudden, whoever's going over there, meow! You know, it's just jacked up. You know, that's when fishing shallow water cover, there's not very many people fishing out deep. That's kind of the way it went that time. But we did fish a couple deep spots. Nowadays, you know, Lindbergh Point, we went out there for a little bit. There was like us and another boat, and then we fished another rock spot on the south end of the lake. And I think I caught one there, and I couldn't believe it. I was like in no man's land at that time. How, you know, we were off the bank casting. I just remember him being like, cast that way, and caught one on a Carolina rig. That was like completely insane to me. Like, I can just remember being mesmerized, just like what he had going on for that one. So it's pretty cool. It was definitely tense trying to keep up with
It's been
Dino.
hectic trying to keep the rods going and keep everything going. You know, when you're fishing these docks, it can be total pandemonium. This one right here might have a 4 pounder on it. There he is. Good one, too. Good one. Okay, ready? Coming up. Ooh. Oh, not yet. Boy, these fish are tough. Oh, get him, get him, get him, yeah! Way to go, buddy. He ain't a 4 pounder, but he's better than the ones we got. He loved that power tube.
Although Dean's day is going good.
Not too much different than what people do now. Just a jig head and a tube. Pretty crazy for what was going on there. Not too much different, but it's funny. People give me grief saying I'm fast with the net nowadays. I'm pretty sure this day from Dino gave me a full tutorial of how to net fish and how it was. And you could see me. I was right up there, right by the boat, ready to net them. And I'm sure that's where that came from, because you don't want to miss a fish. So, thanks, Dino.
The same can't be said for Dad Ted.
Going to the big show.
Here they come.
Frankie's
Dino.
Live Bait and Marine in Chisago City.
Check that out,
is
that
host
sexy
for the
trucking
weigh-in.
boat back
And the
then.
first teams are in from Green Lake.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody. Day one.
There
Silverado
we go,
TOC
me and Dean.
Championship.
I think that's probably
Dean Cap
the
was
big
first
fish
man
of
on
the day. I
deck.
can't remember how big that one was.
Let's come off your local
Pounder.
lakes. Fish are all going back into this live release pontoon sponsored by Minn Kota JWA. Right in the basket here, buddy.
Yeah, we had a good time. Fishing was kind of tough as far as catching
Look
big
at me,
fish. We
once
caught a lot
again,
of
I'm
fish.
just dumbfounded
It kinda surprised me
standing
'cause
out there.
I didn't catch that many during practice, so I'm looking forward to a good day tomorrow, though.
You could be in there. What do you got for
I think
Dino?
I'm wearing my St. Cloud State shirt right there.
15-29. There's your leader. Let's put it together for him. Brad Leiferman coming up, and I know he wants to win this. He hates being second best, and look at these horses. Uh-oh. If he's with Tim Scher, just relax. So you're getting worse than Dino. You have fun with this maniac or what?
Had a good time.
All right, 15-29 is the lead. You're grinning like a dog here, son.
17-61.
Whoa, there he is. 17 what?
17-61.
17-61, and he's got a horse. Dino goes in second.
1761, and he ends up leading the tournament with that. So
We're halfway decent.
All right, Steve Menz, what do you got? Oh,
16-62.
16-62. That'll move you up.
1662 would be leading
In
it
fact,
out on North South Center. Crazy.
16.62 moves Men's and Rain into second, positioning them for a strong run the final day. Now,
Ooh, nice bag of fish. We're going to the wrong landing. John Schley and Matt Birsch. We're still puffing and grunting today.
What's that?
You've been running late all day, ain't you, son?
I tell you.
led by Brad Leiferman and Tim Scher. Here are
So
the
check
top
it out.
10
We were
pros
sitting
and
in
ams
third
going into
place
the
after
final
day
day
one.
of
Me
the
and Dino
Tournament
were.
of Champions.
So we were on Green Lake. The next day we're going to North South Center.
Hi, I'd like to welcome everybody to the second day of the Silverado Pro Bass Tour Championship. I got Brad Leiferman in the lead with about 17 pounds. You said it's going to take 15 pounds each day. You holding true to that?
Yeah, I'm holding true to that, and whoever can get 15 pounds today will be handed a trophy to.
Stay tuned for the final day of the Tournament of Champions.
Here we go. We're on to day 2 of the tournament once again. Flip-flop lakes. So people over this one are going to the other one. Crazy that they just said 15 pounds. It's a good bag, but you can see from the weights. It's crazy how things have changed, but that's what it is.
These pros finished in the top 10 on day 1. On the amateur side, Tim Scher leads Matt Rain and Dave Sickenender.
Pretty close
Talked to
on
my
my
wife
name, at
last
least.
night, told her I figured I needed about 10 pounds and it'd be a turkey shoot, and 13 pounds and this thing would be over with.
With 2 tournaments taking place simultaneously, a good draw for both pro and am is vital.
Well, yesterday I finished in 11th place, and fortunate to get Steve Menz boat 1 today.
Once again, me and Dean Nalesny going against it, fighting during those days. It seemed like we were right there. So
Menz and Nalesny head out onto Green Lake at 6 a.m. The weigh-in at Frankie's Live Bait and Marine in Chisago City is 8 hours and 5 fish away.
there you go. I think that was just us. So I got paired with Mark Raveling, like legend. Even at that time, the guy was just super good fisherman. So I can't remember how awesome it was, but like to get drawn with him, I was like, what? Crazy. And I just remember we started the morning actually buzz baiting. And guess what? We got the big, he got the big fish. I think it was like a 4-pounder. It's a big fish for the day again. So both the first day and the second day, we both had big fish. But I was like, we were fishing down actually a really good bank that we fished the weekend before for our tournament. It's a do nothing bank. I've tried to fish there again since, and it's got nothing going on. But you got that big one there, and that just started the day off. But bites were hard to come by.
And with 2 fish in the live well, Dean Capra heads for the pads.
Well, the way I flip the pads, I use a fairly light jig because you don't want it to fall down and get in the mud. and you just kind of try to fish the stems. I got a G. Loomis flipping stick, so I'm not really watching the line. I'm more feeling for the bite, because you kind of got to suspend the bait. If it lands in that mud, you don't get a bite at all. I just kind of hold the line tight and shake it a little and hope for a bite. And when you get them, you can't lose them.
Funny, after doing this, I pitched pads for a long time, and this is basically what I still do now to this day, is what he's doing right here.
Well, this morning we started out deep on the
Here we
rocks,
go.
and we didn't catch anything. There's a pretty good looking shoreline that I'd raised a big fish during practice on crankbait. Just decided to run over there and run that shoreline real quick, and we caught a 4.5, 5 pounder, so it's a really nice fish. We had a couple of blow-ups, so I'm going to probably go back and hit it later.
Check it out.
Take your time, take your time.
People must have moved off there. I think Dee was still to the side of us.
Take your time.
Not really a jig wormer at that time. I don't even know what jig head I was using, but
Nice fish.
actually I lied. That's an old Berkeley jig head. I'll show
Dean
you
said he was
here
one
at
of
the
the
end of
best
the
amateurs
video
out
along
here.
with the trophy.
He just
Look at
proved
that.
himself right there.
That
It's really important to have a good amateur on any of the tournaments, but you know, these guys are coming a long ways. They're learning a lot. You know, they're the future. It won't take long either. They're learning quick.
Stay with us for more bass action. This is the Silverado Pro Bass Tour.
what a punk I am, but I can't remember. I remember being pretty excited about catching that one, but trying to remain calm for the camera. It's the way the things went back in those days that you didn't want to show off, I don't think. So I can remember being like, having no clue what I was doing, but catching that fish, and I was like, whoa. I went on to catch, I'd have to look at the thing. It was either like 2 or 3 of our fish that we kept. I just got super lucky with that jig worm, which I still have to this day. I'll show you in a little bit.
A couple of little tips for fishing the pads is, number one, if you go into an area, you'll hear sunfish making a snapping noise. And what they're doing, the sunfish are coming up underneath the pads and they snap little worms and such off the bottom of the pads. Bass are predators to the sunfish. And if you're fishing pads where you don't hear any noise or see any activity from the sunfish, you might as well leave, because chances are there's not a lot of bass in there to be caught. Come on. That'll help.
I can just remember that after watching that, I already fished pads for quite a while, but after watching this video of all the people that were fishing pads, like if you wonder why I do it now, it's the kind of stuff that got me into it. Just watching North, South Center and Green, those area lakes, man, they're just, those pad fish, especially back then, were such a big deal.
We've got 5 fish right now, and 4 of them are really nice. We think we probably got 15, 16 pounds. Dave was in 3rd place on the amateur side. He had 15 pounds something yesterday, and he's going to look real strong. He'll probably win this thing today.
I don't know if I could win it, but I'm doing pretty good right now.
Mark Raveling finished back in the pack after day 1, but a strong bag here could put AM partner Dave Sickenender right up there.
That's a good one.
Mark had a tough day yesterday. That's going to be the only problem here. All right, that's a good bag of fish. You're up into that decal area. We're talking 14, 15 pounds here.
We caught 4 really nice fish, and Dave caught 2 of them, and we just had a great time. I think Dave's going to win this thing.
Let me talk to this boy. You're just shaking like hell. Come over here. You help this guy out?
Yeah, I did. I got 2 of them.
I can feel you trembling, son. You just bad. You know what you win? You see that beautiful white Chevrolet truck sitting there?
Yep.
You can't pass out on my stage or I take the truck, all right? All righty. Let's hear it for him. What do you got, Gary?
2 liter, 1581.
1581 for the big string this year. That's
Wow.
going to put you in the leader for the amateur, no
look at
doubt
that.
about
A quarter pound under Steve Menz, the winner of the Tournament of Champions. Dave Sickenender takes the amateur top spot
Check it out.
with 31.10. When we return, we'll check the final standings.
We'll just pick it up from right there. So still got that trophy today, if you can see that. And I said the winning bait. So look at that. That's an old school Berkeley jigworm. It's like really long, and check it out. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got the hook point that goes, or it's got the a barb that goes the other way. How crazy is that? I know when I fished with Mark, caught those 2 fish, this is just like the 7-inch Riverside. It's the exact same bait. For a bunch of my wins, I always take off the bait to save for memory's sake. You can see this one's really old, it's dusty, but I gave the pack of worms that I had. Mark was asking about them. I gave him the pack of worms at that time, but just an old school red shad Riverside, I'm pretty sure. Riverside worm. So pretty cool. Unreal to win that young. Feels like yesterday.
Led by Steve Menz, here are the pros who finished in the money. With Dave Sickenender edging Tim Schur by less than 1/2 pound, these amateurs also topped off a great year.
Whenever you have dirty water like these lakes, it's stained. You're gonna find a lot.
So one of the things I didn't talk about, it showed that I won that much. Hold on, I gotta look back. How cool is that? So there's this cash I won, and then the 1-year lease I was able to like option out of it and just get a cash amount instead of the 1-year lease. That was thousands of dollars. And then I also won a cruise that my parents ended up buying from me. Also was included with this. So that was quite a bit of money. It was like, I don't know. It ended up 8 to 11 grand, 12 grand or something like that. 8 something, depending on, I can't remember exactly how much I got from the Chevy truck lease, how much I got from my parents that they so graciously bought that cruise trip from me. So pile of money for a kid that was 19 going to college. And so it's funny that I ended up talking to Howie Lee and getting a truck right after that to take up to college. Or I think I left it at home, but I basically bought a truck. So my parents helped me out when they bought that cruise to get enough to have this truck that we bought from Howie. So pretty cool. One of those ones definitely defined me. Home water to win there was unreal. I got to fish with 2 fantastic fishermen. So fortunate for that to happen. Unreal. It definitely a highlight of my fishing life. Definitely a highlight of my life. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.